And here we are again, brethren and sistren. Welcome back, one and all, to the one and the only Junk Shop Library channel, home of Improv Bible Study, where we read a chapter at a time of the public domain King James version. Tried to say Bible and version at the same time, and it came out weird. The King James Version of 1611. And then we make fun of it. We are very disrespectful to the Holy Writ around here. Comes along with the whole being an atheist thing. You have been warned. Alrighty. Well, got a little bit of housekeeping to do before we launch into the Holy Writ. If you're watching this right now, today is Wednesday, the 26th of February, and yes, I had to look at my desktop to be able to remember that. Wednesday, the 26th of February. It is Ash Wednesday, for those of you who give a damn. My ex-Catholics in the house, glad that they don't have to spend the entire rest of the week washing their foreheads with carbolic soap. For those of you watching in the future, it's whatever day it is for you. And you can also be glad that you don't have to spend the rest of the week washing your forehead with carbolic soap. Let's see, we'll be turning today firstly to 1 Samuel chapter 14, for those of you following along in your pew Bibles. I want to say a quick word of welcome to our newest library subscriber. I don't think you've got your subscription set to public, so I'm not going to say anything about you personally, but I saw you come on aboard last night. You are more than welcome. Alrighty. Let's see. Hey, it's Tony Designs in the house. Hello, my friend. It has been a while. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anybody who happened to see my barrage of desperation on the various social medias last night, no more news to report. My godson is still missing, and we're still looking for him everywhere we can think of, and anywhere that occurs to us that we didn't think of, still no word. So if that changes, I'll let y'all know. You know, my online family. Ugh. It's just coffee, but it's done got cold on me. Shit. That's another thing for anybody new to the Junk Shop Library. We do swear on this channel. The vast host of witnesses has yet to complain. All right. So, if we recall, last chapter, chapter 13, Tall Saul versus the Philistines, where Saul was the only man around who had a spear, him and one other dude. I got pages starting to rip out. It's too early in the book for the pages to be coming out. We got another, Jesus Christ, another 415 pages or so to go. I'm not sure my dollar store Holy Writ is going to last all the way through to Revelation. All right, chapter 14. Let's see what Tall Saul gets up to. Now it came to pass upon a day that Jonathan the son of Saul said unto the young man that bare his armor, Come, let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side. But he told not his father. And Saul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree, which is in Migron, and the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah, the son of Ahitub, Ichabod's brother, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, the Lord's priest in Shiloh, wearing an ephod. Drink! And the people knew not that Jonathan was gone. And between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over unto the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on one side, and a sharp rock on the other. And the name of the one was Bozez, and the name of the other Seneh. The forefront of the one was situate northward over against Michmash, and the other southward over against Gibeah. Helpful, right? Now we know exactly where we are. We can pick it out on the map. And Jonathan said to the young man that bare his armor, Come, and let us go over unto the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that the Lord will work for us, for there is no restraint to the Lord to save by many or by few. And his armor-bearer said unto him, Do all that is in thine heart. Turn thee, behold, I am with thee according to thy heart. Then said Jonathan, Behold, we will pass over unto these men, and we will discover ourselves unto them. And if they say thus unto us, Tarry until we come to you, then we will stand still in our place, and we will not go unto them. But if they say thus, Come up unto us, then we will go up, for the Lord hath delivered them into our hand, and this shall be a sign unto us. And both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines, and the Philistines said, Behold, the Hebrews come forth out of the holes where they had hid themselves. And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and his armor-bearer, and said, Come up to us, and we will shew you a thing. And Jonathan said unto his armor-bearer, Come up after me, for the Lord hath delivered them into the hand of Israel. And Jonathan climbed up upon his hands and upon his feet, and his armor-bearer after him, and they fell before Jonathan, and his armor-bearer slew after him. And that first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor-bearer made was about 20 men, within, as it were, an half acre of land which a yoke of oxen might plough. And there was a trembling in the host, in the field, and among all the people. The garrison and the spoilers, they also trembled, and the earth melted away. Surely not. Nope, I skipped a line. They also trembled, and the earth quaked, so it was a very great trembling. And the watchmen of Saul in Gibeah of Benjamin looked, and behold, the multitude melted away, and they went on beating down one another. Then said Saul unto the people that were with him, Number now, and see who is gone from us. And when they had numbered, behold, Jonathan and his armor-bearer were not there. And Saul said unto Ahiah, Bring hither the ark of God, for the ark of God was at that time with the children of Israel. And it came to pass, while Saul talked unto the priest, that the noise that was in the host of the Philistines went on, and increased. And Saul said unto the priest, Withdraw thine hand. And Saul and all the people that were with him assembled themselves, and they came to the battle. And behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and there was a very great discomfiture. Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time, which went up with them into the camp from the country round about, even they also turned out to be with the Israelites that were with Saul and Jonathan. Likewise, all the men of Israel which had hid themselves in Mount Ephraim, when they heard that the Philistines fled, even they also followed hard after them in the battle. So the Lord saved Israel that day, and the battle passed over unto Beth-aven. And the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening, that I may be avenged on mine enemies. So none of the people tasted any food. And all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. And when the people were come into the wood, behold, the honey dropped, but no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in an honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Then answered one of the people, and said, Thy father straitly charged the people with an oath, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any food this day. And people were faint. And then said Jonathan, My father hath troubled the land. See, I pray you, how mine eyes have been enlightened, because I tasted a little of this honey. How much more, if haply the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies which they found? For had there not been now a much greater slaughter among the Philistines? And they smote the Philistines that day from Michmash to Aijalon, and the people were very faint. And the people flew upon the spoil, and took sheep and oxen and calves, and slew them on the ground, and the people did eat them with the blood. And then they told Saul, saying, Behold, the people sin against the Lord, in that they eat with the blood. And he said, Ye have transgressed. Roll a great stone unto me this day. And Saul said, Disperse yourselves among the people, and say unto them, Bring me hither every man his ox, and every man his sheep, and slay them here, and eat, and sin not against the Lord in eating with the blood. And all the people brought every man his ox with him that night, and slew them there. And Saul built an altar unto the Lord. The same was the first altar he built unto the Lord. And Saul said, Let us go down after the Philistines by night, and spoil them until the morning light, and let us not leave a man of them. And they said, Do whatever seemeth good unto thee. Then said the priest, Let us draw near hither unto the Lord. And Saul asked counsel of God, Shall I go down after the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into the hand of Israel? But he answered him not that day. And Saul said, Draw ye near hither, all the chief of the people, and know and see wherein this sin hath been this day. For as the Lord liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die. But there was not a man among all the people that answered him. Then said he unto all Israel, Be ye on one side, and I and Jonathan my son will be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, Do what seemeth good unto thee. Therefore Saul said unto the Lord God of Israel, Give a perfect lot. And Saul and Jonathan were taken, but the people escaped. And Saul said, Cast lots between me and Jonathan my son. And Jonathan was taken. And Saul said to Jonathan, Tell me what thou hast done. And Jonathan told him, and said, I did but taste a little honey with the end of the rod that was in mine hand, and lo, I must die. And Saul answered, God do so, and more also, for thou shalt surely die, Jonathan. And the people said unto Saul, Shall Jonathan die, who hath wrought this great salvation in Israel? God forbid, as the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of his head fall to the ground, for he hath wrought with God this day. So the people rescued Jonathan, that he died not. Then Saul went up from following the Philistines, and the Philistines went to their own place. So Saul took the kingdom over Israel, and fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab, and against the children of Ammon, and against Edom, and against the kings of Zobah, and against the Philistines. And whithersoever he turned himself, he vexed them. And he gathered an host, and smote the Amalekites, and delivered Israel out of the hands of them that spoiled them. Now the sons of Saul were Jonathan, and Ishui, and Melchi-Shuah. And the names of his two daughters were these, the name of the firstborn Merab, and the name of the younger Michal. And the name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz, and the name of the captain of his host was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. And Kish was the father of Saul, and Ner the father of Abner was the son of Abiel. And there was sore war against the Philistines all the days of Saul. And when Saul saw any strong man, or any valiant man, he took him unto him. And there we have the long and strange 14th chapter of 1 Samuel. Change my banner there. Tony says, it's easy for you to say. Yeah, Yes, absolutely. Very, very easy. No effort at all. Just rolls off the tongue. Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz. What a story to all of a sudden have names for the women. Right? I mean, we got Saul's wife's name and her father's name. We got Saul's son's names and his daughter's names. And he had time to do all this begetting, despite the fact that he's warlording about all over the place, fighting against Moab and Ammon and Edom and Zobah and Philistia and the Amalekites. Okay, this story about the honey. I don't understand. I don't understand its inclusion or its construction unless we go back to it at some point. Ouch. So, Saul makes a vow of fasting on behalf of his army and says no. Wow, that is nasty when it's cold. I hate cold coffee. So Saul makes a promise of fasting on behalf of his army and goes into battle against the Philistines after getting the sign that the Lord was on his side against the Philistines by the fact that Jonathan and his armor bearer were able to kill 20 of them. And Jonathan just kind of rolled the dice on that. He went up to the garrison and said, you know what? I'm sure God will be with us if they tell us to come inside. Hey, Dave. Welcome, welcome. Dave says, that's better. My audio quality, maybe? Is my audio quality better? That'd be awesome. That's better. Oh, he was in the wrong. Sorry. Wow, that chat went fast. Yeah, no notification. Well, there's a shocker. I got like 8 notifications all at once while I was overwatching a debate on Fight the Flat Earth's channel, and it was for stuff that I had watched yesterday and for stuff I had watched 3 days ago, and they all came charging in at once here on my my laptop. I only knew because I noticed on Discord. Yeah, Witch of What the Craft set me up that little robot that lets everybody on the Discord know whenever I drop a video. The only problem is it seems to tell everybody that as soon as I click Enter Broadcast Studio here. Sometimes even before, like as soon as I hit Create Broadcast. And so I still have to put in a description and everything. And fortunately, my few but faithful are not so clamorous at the gates that I've taken a lot of crap over that. Let's see. Tony says, I honestly think they used to sit around and say, let's just think up unpronounceable names for our kids in case they get written about in some book, and then giggle. That's not hugely unlikely given some of these names, is it? Oh, yeah, Dave says he was in the wrong account. Okay, good. Yeah, I was scrolling up. I was like, who is this third person with the blue icon? And then I looked a little more closely. Okay, yeah, so Jonathan just rolls the dice on him and his armor bearer being able to take on an entire garrison of Philistines. And decides what the sign is going to be without consulting with the Lord, what the sign will be that the Lord is on his side. And that's if he gets invited in, that'll be the sign that the Lord is on his side, and he'll be able to massacre his way out just as easily as he got in. Jonathan kind of coming out of nowhere in this chapter and last. Normally with these weird patriarchal stories, we get, some tale of the circumstances surrounding the birth of the son of a king. But nope. We go from tall Saul hiding amongst the stuff to him being a full-grown warlord with a grown-ass son. Yeah. They says, and 100 other people claimed the same thing, but they got slaughtered. Yep, their God is not as strong as our God. It doesn't have anything to do with the element of surprise or having swords and spears when everybody thought the Israelites didn't have any, or coming all sneaky inside under guise of being a refugee and doing a massacre instead. It didn't have anything to do with any of that. No. Just Just the strong right hand of God on your side. Survivor bias. Yeah, exactly. Not survivor's guilt. There's no guilt in this book, just survivor bias. The winners write the histories. So anyway, while there's this clamorous tumult in the garrison, sorry, y'all, I've got an eyelash in a place that I'm not going to be able to tolerate it. Got it. Okay, hallelujah. It's the riveting, prepared content you come for, isn't it? There's a reason we call this improv Bible study. No second takes, except for that one time. I know y'all would forget about that if I'd let it go, but for some reason I just can't let myself off of that particular hook. All right, so anyway, there's the clamoring of a 20-man massacre up at the garrison in the space of half an acre, such as an ox might plow, a yoke of oxen might plow. And Saul says that there's a clamor and tumult up on the hill where the garrison is. Oh, shit. Did somebody get ID? Everybody check around and see who we're missing. And they check around, and who's missing turns out to be his son and his armor bearer. His son and his son's armor bearer. Yeah. Tony says, the Lord is with us. Also, we have pointy sticks. We got guns, knives, sharp sticks. So he says, well, that sounds like the sound of a victory to me. So everybody gather together, and we're going to go massacre the rest of the Philistines. Oh, one more thing. While we're doing all of our massacring, nobody's allowed to eat or I'll kill them. This is the man who's been elected king by God. A man who wanted the kingship so bad he hid himself in the baggage claim. Who thinks an army fights best on an empty stomach in the heat of the day. Tactical genius the Lord has raised up above his servants. So anyway, the thing that he forgets is that everybody isn't there with him, because the whole reason they're going off on their massacre project to begin with is that Jonathan and his armor bearer are way up yonder way. And they've already started the massacring. And they don't get word to them about how they're not supposed to eat. So when they come across some honey, this isn't dead lion carcass accidental honey. This is just regular old ass tree honey, at least as far as we know. Jonathan, having gotten a little peckish after having gotten his massacre on, eats some of it. Like you do. Find some honey, eat some honey. So what? Bad idea. Now, Saul says, yeah, I just wanted to check I was doing the right story. Yeah. Okay. So Saul says, well, there's still some Philistines left. I think we're going to go down and finish up our Philistine massacre. And he double checks with the priest to make sure that's all right with the Lord, and the Lord don't answer. And Saul says, uh-oh, somebody fucked up. So he asks around the camp and says, all right, who ate something? And nobody cops to it. He says, I'm going to kill whoever did it. So somebody cop to it. I don't care if it's my own damn son. I'm going to kill him because I told everybody not to eat. Nothing. So he pulls his family off to the side on one side and keeps everybody else on the other side and draws lots between them, and the lot comes up him and his son. I don't understand this method of jurisprudence. They put a lot of faith in the drawing of lots. You'd think it was a Democratic caucus. So then, they draw lots between him and Jonathan, his son, and it comes up Jonathan, and he says, "What the fuck did you do?" Jonathan says, "I ate some honey. That's all I've done today, except for massacre some Philistines. Why would God be mad at me either for massacring some Philistines or for eating some honey?" Saul says, "You dumb son of a bitch, I told everybody not to eat anything today." Jonathan says, "How the fuck was I supposed to know that? I was up at the garrison getting my massacre on." And Saul says, "Well, I didn't think of that, but I got to kill you anyway." And the people say, "Look, he done saved us from the Philistine garrison. Him and his buddy over here, they massacred 20 people in the size of a small half-acre of land, such an amount of space as a yoke of oxen could plow. Don't kill him." And Saul says, "Okay, I swore to God I wouldn't kill him, but or that I would kill him, but since y'all asked so bloody nicely, I don't think we'll kill him after all." And that's, they go to the house. Weird fucking book. And we got Maya here. Hello, Maya. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Alrighty. I think we'll do the next chapter. I'm not seeing anybody complain too much about my audio weirdness, so I'm going to keep rolling with it as long as I can. We seem to be able to rely on a pretty solid 40-45 minutes before things go crazy in the audio department. Except when I'm recording. That dramatic reading I recorded yesterday, it looked like it was okay while I was recording, but during the processing somehow, way out of sync. The old man Junk Shop plays with technology. Alrighty. 1 Samuel, 15th chapter. Tony, yeah. Tony is a long-time subscriber. He's been with me since, like, maybe almost all the way back to in the beginning. He's been a loyal library patron for a long, long time. All right, 15. Samuel also said unto Saul, "The Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way, when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass." And Saul gathered the people together, and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen, and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek, and laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, "Go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye shewed kindness to all the children of Israel, when they came up out of Egypt." So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag, and the best of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them. But everything that was vile and refuse, that they destroyed utterly. Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, "It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he is turned back from following me, and hath not performed my commandments." And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about, and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord, I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites. For the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. And Samuel said unto Saul, Stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. And Samuel said, When thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made a head of the tribes of Israel, and the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? And the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, and didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord? And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek, and utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord, and thy words, because I feared the people, and obeyed their voice. Now therefore I pray thee, pardon my sin, and turn again with me, that I may worship the Lord. And Samuel said unto Saul, I will not return with thee, for thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord hath rejected thee from being king over Israel. And as Samuel turned about to go away, he laid hold upon the skirt of his mantle, and it rent. And Samuel said unto him, The Lord hath rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day, and hath given it to a neighbor of thine that is better than thou. And also the strength of Israel will not lie nor repent, for he is not a man that he should repent. Then he said, I have sinned. Yet honor me now, I pray thee, before the elders of my people, and before Israel, and turn again with me, that I may worship the Lord thy God. So Samuel turned again after Saul, and Saul worshipped the Lord. And then said Samuel, Bring ye hither to me Agag the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came to him delicately. And Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. And Samuel said, As the sword hath made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. Then Samuel went to Ramah, and Saul went up to his house to Gibeah of Saul. And Samuel came no more to see Saul until the day of his death. Nevertheless Samuel mourned for Saul, and the Lord repented that he had made Saul king over Israel. And there we have the very bloody 15th chapter of 1 Samuel. Oh, hey, Paul. Welcome, welcome. Oh, and Dave dropping links in the chat. My man, the god of links. All right. Well, we had to do it sooner or later, right? The slaughter of the Amalekites. As we blew past it at about Mach 9, did you happen to notice why all of the Amalekites and all of their livestock had to be slaughtered, God said? because they were rude to the Israelites back in the days when the Israelites came up out of Egypt. Hundreds of years ago. This is some sins of the father bullshit. It's not as bad, and it's not as toxic, and it's not as damaging as the doctrine of original sin. Because nothing is as toxic and damaging. Pardon me. Nothing is as toxic and damaging as the doctrine of original sin. Nothing. Ever. But it's still pretty damn bad. So, because of the sins of the father, Saul is sent down to Amalekitish town with the explicit instructions to get his murder on. And he does pretty much what he was told. He takes the king captive, and he steals the healthy sheep and the healthy oxen. And he kills the sick sheep, and he kills the men of war, and he kills the women, and he kills the children, and he kills the nursing infants and the tiny, tiny babies. And then drags the king and the healthy sheepses and oxenses back to camp. And the Lord comes to Samuel and says, I should not have let these motherfuckers talk me into giving them a king. This was their idea. I gave them a damn king just like they begged for. And I thought I picked out a good one in tall Saul, but not being omniscient, I myself did not happen to foresee the future where he would do dumb shit I explicitly told him not to do. Samuel says, well, yeah, you got me there. The Lord says, I need you to go down to Mr. Saul and tell him he ain't king no more. Samuel says, okay. Hope he don't kill the messenger. And so he goes down and he buttonholes tall Saul, takes him aside and says, why didn't you do as you were told? You dumb son of a bitch. Saul says, I did exactly what I was told. I killed them all. Men, women, children, and tiny, tiny babies. And also the sick sheep and the sick goats and the not good oxen and stuff. Samuel says, so where'd all these sheepses and oxenses come from? Saul says, oh, them? The people brought them back? I was busy capturing the king. I was very, very busy. I was capturing the king and bringing him back prisoner to the Lord, who I was just about to come see you and bring the king. Samuel says, God told me to ask you how fucking hard were your instructions. All I did was tell you go do a massacre. You're good at that. Or at least your son is. Your son and his armor bearer, not one chapter back, managed to kill 20 men in the space of no time at all, in a space of half an acre, such as a yoke of oxen might plow. How hard is it to kill a bunch of sheep? You managed to kill the suckling infants. Just kill the sheep too, just like you were explicitly told to do, you dumb son of a bitch. Tall you are, smart you ain't. good at following directions, you ain't either. Saul says, I'm real sorry. I killed all the babies, though, just like God said to. Samuel says, that's not good enough. You were supposed to kill all the sheep as well. You're not gonna get to play king no more. Saul says, Shane, come back, Shane. And he grabs him by the coat, and the coat rips. And Samuel turns around and says, just the exact same way you done tore my good coat, God will tear the kingdom out of your hands. Saul says, I'm sorry about your coat. I didn't mean to. Can we just go back to worshiping God and doing what he said and not fight anymore? I don't like it when we fight. Samuel says, okay. And they go to their house. And they never see each other again. And Samuel mourns for Saul all the rest of his days. Because Saul didn't follow instructions good and only killed the babies when he was supposed to be killing the babies and the sheep. The word of the Lord for the people of God. Thanks be unto God. Fucking massacre porn. Why would you include this story? Seriously. This story makes absolutely nobody look good. It doesn't make Samuel look good. It doesn't make Saul look good. It doesn't make the burgeoning kingship over Israel look like a good idea. It doesn't make the children of Israel look good, not following the Lord's instructions. It doesn't make God look good, changing his mind all over the damn place. What is this chapter doing in here? Why did they leave this in? It makes no damn sense. Yeah. Tony says, does one kill the sheep first or the babies? Decisions. Probably the sheep. If you were following instructions, you'd probably kill the sheep first, because they can run off on their own, and the babies can't. You can always come back and brain them babies. Sheep will run off into the wilderness, then you have to search high and low and all damn thing. Seriously, though, why would you include this story? I mean, this really is a... I mean, even if somebody was just real attached to this story, this is a kill your darlings scenario. You don't have to include every fucking thing you write. If it doesn't advance the story or the character development in some significant way, take it out. Unless you're Stephen King, and then you expand on it for 300 pages and make it the turning point of the book. It says, put the baby on the sheep and whack away. Yep, just kill them all at once. So I guess first you kill the soldiers, then you kill the shepherds, then you kill the women, then you kill the sheep and the babies and the oxen. Paul says, kill the babies first, and then the sheep, and then have a barbecue. Yeah. Like, what else are you going to do with this story, right? You got to laugh at this stupid, gross shit, or you'll just give up in despair. And I've already committed over 200 episodes to this series. I can't afford to give up in despair just because of the damn Amalekite massacre. Ugh. All right. Enough of that crap for now. I'm sure we'll be referring back to the slaughter of the Amalekites. It's one of those passages like the slave keeping instructions that atheists just have to wrestle with periodically. Because everybody says it's the good book. Bah! Humbug. Alrighty. Chapter 16. I keep sliding further and further down into this chair, and I'm like some kind of Muppet just sliding down out of frame. Doop, 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 doop. A little bit of uncharacteristic physical humor there. Just got to cover all my entertainment bases. Bases? Chapter 16. And the Lord said unto Samuel, How long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil, and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. Ah, now we know why that last story was included. And Samuel said, How can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, Take a heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will shew thee what thou shalt do. And thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, Comest thou peaceably? And he said peaceably, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his son, and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to pass, when they were come, that he looked on Eliab, and said, Surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab, and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, Neither hath the Lord chosen this. And Jesse made Shammah to pass by, and he said, Neither hath the Lord chosen this. Again Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, The Lord hath not chosen these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Are here all thy children? He said, There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of oil, and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servants said unto him, Behold now, an evil spirit from God troubleth thee. Let our Lord now command thy servants, which are before thee, to seek out a man who is a cunning player on an harp. And it shall come to pass, when the evil spirit from God is upon thee, that he shall play with his hand, and thou shalt be well. And Saul said unto his servants, Provide me now a man that can play well, and bring him to me. Then answered one of the servants, and said, Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse the Bethlehemite that is cunning in playing, and a mighty valiant man, and a man of war, and prudent in matters, and a comely person, and the Lord is with him. Wherefore Saul sent messengers unto Jesse, and said, Send me David thy son, which is with the sheep. And Jesse took an ass laden with bread, and a bottle of wine, and a kid, and sent them by David his son unto Saul. And David came to Saul, and stood before him, and he loved him greatly, and he became his armor-bearer. And Saul sent to Jesse, saying, Let David, I pray thee, stand before me, for he hath found favor in my sight. And it came to pass, when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, that David took an harp, and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed, and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. And there we have chapter 16 of 1 Samuel, the unbelievably contrived backstory of David, son of Jesse. Yep, so now we know why the story of the Amalekites was included. Because otherwise we wouldn't have had any way to know why God had turned his back on Saul. And it had to be a good damn reason. Because, you know, Yahweh's reasons always make so much sense. Anybody in this room could have written this better. And I don't really know half of y'all. Any of y'all, really. Not well enough to know your novel writing abilities, but I am convinced that any one of us could have figured out a better way to write a backstory for young David's arrival and appointment to the court of Saul. Something that didn't involve a baby slaughtering barbecue. All right. See? I told you we'd be back to the Amalekite massacre. You just didn't think it would be so soon. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I got nothing against violence in my fiction. I'm a huge fan of the Hellraiser franchise and of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. I've seen them all many times each. I can watch some murder and mayhem and red-colored corn syrup all day long. So it's not the massacre in and of itself that I object to. Please, nobody clip that out and use it out of context. It's not the massacre that I object to in and of itself. It's the fact that it's in this book, which people take so serious. Lee. People want to say that between these covers there is peace and joy and light and enlightenment and love and blessing and meditation and contemplation fodder. And they're right if they're talking about, you know, about 1 out of every 5th psalm. Pretty much all of the rest of this is just absolute horror. How many massacres have we had in about the last 5 chapters? We've had a massacre of the Philistine garrison and the massacre of the Philistine army that followed that. We had the genocide of the Amalekites down to their sheepses and asses and oxenses. And that's in the past 2 damn chapters. We've had 3 distinct murder parties. 2 chapters, 3 distinct murder parties. Yeah. And people love this fucking book. And yet they can't listen to secular music or watch popular movies or read popular novels because they will draw them away from the Lord. Not that I have a dog in this fight, not that I have any particular baggage in my backstory that I'm identifying with a little too hard right now. We're only a quarter of the way through this, y'all. Hold me back. All right, Junk Shop, don't have yourself a nice fat aneurysm before you even get through the story of David and Goliath. We've got a long way to go until we hit the end of Revelation and close this shit out. Anyway, because Saul isn't as good a murder party planner as God wanted him to be, he got himself the kingship and the spirit of the Lord taken away and got himself given the spirit of crippling depression instead. Not some kind of weird-ass desert ghoul that came in and crouched on his shoulder and made him miserable. An evil spirit from God. Wrap your head around that, Christians. An evil spirit from God that can be driven away by harp music. I guess on the plus side, as many Andreas Vollenweider albums as I've got in my house, I don't ever have to worry about that. All the evil spirits from God will not be able to reach me through the walls of harp music. If you don't know Andreas Vollenweider, you need to go look him up. He's a player of the electric harp who was sort of dragged kicking and screaming into the limelight by Carly Simon back in the 70s. Who essentially stream-jacked an NPR interview by bringing him on just to do a commercial for him. Sometimes we digress. All right, Dave's got to go walk the small pooping machine. Take care, Dave. I'll see you around. All right. The next chapter is chapter 17, which is a little on the long side, but is the story of David and Goliath. What do we think? Do we want to do David and Goliath now that we've introduced David, or do we want to start off strong next episode with the story of David and Goliath? Because I don't have any idea what comes after David and Goliath, to be honest. Oh, wait. No, we've been going for 58 minutes. Holy crap. Yeah, no, we need to wrap here because my camera is not going to survive the story of David and Goliath. It's probably already overheated. Whoa, warm to the touch. Yep, we're going to call it here. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me, both those of y'all here with me live here today on Wednesday, on Ash Wednesday, and to everybody watching this after the fact. If you would, couple of favors for me. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. I do still struggle with that, and I forgot to like several people's things that I was watching this morning while I was getting ready. So, yeah, that's just karma. And I need to do better by karma and hope that she'll do better by me. And also, if you hadn't already, if you could do me a favor and just share around that last short video I put out on my channel just called Memphis Jasper. That's my godson who disappeared into thin fucking air 3 days ago. And all we can do at this point is reach out online, hoping that an 18-year-old boy's thirst for social media will overcome his need to stay off the grid. We're all worried about him. So just do me a personal favor and just tweet that out. We're we're trying everything. I made a damn TikTok trying to find the kid. Yeah, Junk Shop's on TikTok. It's a scary, scary world out there. Oh yeah, Paul says I wanted David. I wanted to do David and Goliath too, but really, we just crossed the terrible hour mark, and my camera is going to crash here on me before long. If you don't believe me, talk to Dave. Dave knows all about my infamous 1 hour camera crash. All right. Well, like I said yesterday, I'm gonna really try hard to get in front of this camera and do a couple of chapters every day this week. It'll be good for me to have that routine, and it'll be good for the channel to have that kind of consistent content, which, as you all know, consistent content has not really been my defining feature on this channel over the last year and change. So, we will see y'all again sometime tomorrow, and we'll launch into chapter 17 of 1 Samuel for the story of David and Goliath, which takes up a much larger amount of page than I had remembered it being. So, I don't know what kind of stuff is in the story of David and Goliath that I had either forgotten since my Sunday school days or was not taught in my Thanksgiving days, my Sunday school days. Thanksgiving days make sense, back in days when I gave thanks to anything. All right, I'm just babbling now. I'm going to go get some hot coffee and have me a cigarette. And everybody, till we congregate again, take care, be safe. Maya says, tell Julie I said hi. I certainly will. Thank you, Maya. Everybody take care, be safe, stand against hate, and look out for each other. Bye now.